Welcome to the Maltepes show. I'm here with Angeliki Nakos. You might know her, might have seen her, whether it was on Instagram, Facebook. She's an author, she has a podcast, and she's also the Philly food fanatic. How's your day going, Angeliki?
Doing good. Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Thank you for coming on and being my guest. This is your first interview in the States, right?
Yes, I had
Being
a couple
interviewed?
interviews in Greece recently that were in Greek. So this is my first interview, yeah, in the
And tell
States.
me the difference between. So you were in Greece. Was it in Greece or
It
just
was
in
in
Greek?
Greece,
It
yeah.
was
It
in
was
Greece, in Greek.
in Greek, yes.
Whereas,
In Yanina, that's where I'm from. Yeah, so it was very nerve-wracking because my Greek, look, I speak very fluent Greek, but there is a difference between like proper Greek and kind of like the Greek slang, so to speak. Yeah, so and then I found out it was live like 5 minutes before the show, so I was kind of like really sweating it out here.
yeah, hit you with a blind side.
Yeah, I was like, what? So, turned out really good. And they were very nice, so that helps out when the person that's interviewing is like really nice and understanding about it. So
But you have your own podcast, correct?
I do have my own podcast, but it's different when you're interviewing someone else rather than being interviewed.
It is different. So, all right. First of all, what's your podcast? Shout it out real quick.
Okay, so my podcast is called Film, Food, and Fashion Are My Passion. And that was kind of just broke off from the Philly Food Fanatic. Everybody was like really loving the Food Fanatic, the way we showcase the restaurants and things like that. So I figured I would kind of just add it on because that is one of my passions. Like I'm a foodie, I love food, and then we added the fashion part of it and film, um, and people were just they just kind of like the followers just kind of followed us onto the podcast.
That's awesome. So, what is the difference between being the interviewer and interviewee? When you're the person interviewing someone, how do you go about that process?
So when I interview someone, I kind of just do a little bit of research, like I always like, okay, where are they from? What are we doing? What are we showcasing here? I like to talk about their story. I try to make it all about them, when I'm interviewing them. And I like to ask them questions like, because I'm curious, and really it's like what the public want to know about that, the person I'm interviewing. And I just follow with that, with the questions. And I try to make it fun too. Like we do some shots of tequila. Sometimes I have a
That's
lot.
awesome. I should have brought the
No,
Uzo
that's
tequila. I should have brought the Babiska vodka. I could have brought any.
oh, that would have been great. No. It's just some people that come on are nervous, and it's like, okay, what can I do to make you not nervous? And then you get a couple people say, if I have a drink, can I get a drink? Sure, absolutely. We'll bring the tequila, we'll bring the whatever it is that you like to drink, whatever makes you comfortable. Um, but at the end of the day, it's all about having fun, you know.
It's true. At the end of the day, it's about having fun, and you want everybody to be comfortable. I want you to be comfortable. I want this guest to be comfortable. How do we do that? Everyone says a drink does make them comfortable. All right, so let's talk about. You said your story. You have a book as well. You're an author.
Yes, yes.
So when did this book come out? What is the title? What is it about? It's about your life story, or it's
So my book is a memoir. It's my true story about my life, and it came out in July, and I got bestseller already.
wow,
Amazon bestseller,
bestseller.
number one bestseller. I was
Wow,
literally like number one on Amazon.
congrats.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was very proud of that. It
When
was
did
very
this come
huge.
out?
July 9th of 2024.
Less than a year ago.
Less than a year ago, yeah. So I'm very excited about that.
So it's a memoir about your life, but let's say you had to summarize it for the audience in one paragraph.
One paragraph. So I would say it's definitely a woman's empowerment book, and it talks a lot about, how my faith helped me get through some really rough times, during my marriage and things like that. But it's also my faith, my religion, things like being Greek. So we talk a lot about being Greek in the book
I
and
love
how
that.
that's affected my choices in life. Um, so basically, it's that, and
I had
just
a. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, like, that, how Greeks, there's a lot of rumors, they talk a lot and things like that.
Gossip a
The
lot.
gossip is
The
crazy
gossip
in the
is
Greek
crazy.
world. So there was so many rumors going on about my life and, my marriage and things that happened. And I just wanted to kind of clear it out because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to write about it. I'm just going to let people know what really happened, whether it's good or bad, whether it's, making me look good, making me look bad. It's the truth. So there's some people that'll read the book and be like, oh my God, I can't believe she just said that, or I can't believe she did that. But it's the truth. So we all make mistakes in life. We all make horrible choices. And sometimes, money and the power of money, and when you start seeing certain things in life and the materialistic things get inside your world, you kind of forget about your faith and forget about how you grew up and how where you came from. And I think that's what happened with me. I kind of forgot about where I came from and things like that, and made me make some bad choices.
So recently, I just had a podcast with Steve Pilidis and Stacey Karagiogos, and they're awesome, by the way. Good friends of mine. But we talked about being Greek. We talked about being Greek Orthodox too, as well, and the faith and culture, traditions, all these different things. To touch on what you're talking about. But besides that, when it comes to the book itself, how hard is the process of writing a book? Because I'm in the process of the same thing, right? I just wrote a book with my father about his life,
That's great.
right? It's getting published now, self-published, and we're getting ready for a big release. But getting there was not easy.
Yeah.
It was very difficult, many loops, many different processes, many different rewrites, trying to get everything just right. How did you go about that process? It's not easy.
No, it is not easy. It is not. I didn't have the book edited by anybody but myself. So the publishing company, they had, an option, obviously, if we can edit it. And I said, no, I want it as real as it. And it's very basic. I hate to read. I mean, I love to write, but I hate to read.
A lot of people don't like to read.
Right. So I wanted it to be something that anyone can just pick up and just start reading. And I wanted it to be as natural as I'm having a conversation with you. And that's basically the way I wrote it, as if I'm speaking to you about my life. The good thing about that is that a lot of people that have read it said that they couldn't put it down because it was kind of just so flowy and so true. And when you're talking about your life story, what you want to do is, I know you said you're writing a book with your father. What you want to kind of do is make it in chronological order. So you really want to, because it's so easy to jump around because you're like, okay, I remember when this happened, or I remember when that happened. But you have to kind of really write down. So it's a lot of editing, but you're doing it yourself editing.
You need the continuity.
Yes, you do. And you need to kind of focus and be in a bubble. People don't understand that. Like I was telling my family when I was writing the book, it took me 6 years to write the book because it was kind of on and off, like, no, I can't. No, it was debate. It was very much a dilemma for me personally to go back and live those things. Yeah, it was very personal. And then as your kids get older, my kids were getting older, it was like, okay, now I have to worry about, they're going to pick up this book and they're going to read it one day. So there was a lot of scribble scrabble, like, no, I don't want to say this. No, I don't want to say that. I'm being as truthful as I can without
releasing too many details that would risk anything.
Yeah, and later on, like I said, my kids one day are going to read this and they're getting older, and I didn't want it to be something that would upset them and things like that. I just wanted it to kind of be the truth. So there was a lot of scribble scrabble and going back, and the time frame and the chapters were all done first. So in other words, what am I going to talk about when this happened? Okay, so it's going to be in that chronological order.
So you kind of not a table of contents, kind of table of contents, but like a bulleted list in order.
Yes, absolutely. I don't think I could have been able to get the book so easily done after that. Like once you do that, for me, it became very easy because I was like, oh, I'm going to talk about the wedding. Okay, so then after the wedding, after I'm done talking about that, now I have that. So I always had that to go back to. That
Chronological
table.
major events.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
chronological order.
Like growing up in
We did the
North
same
Philly.
thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that helped me a lot. And a lot of people get stuck on that. They're like, oh, I'm stuck. You have to put yourself in a bubble, so to speak. Like my kids, my family, my boyfriend, they were like, what are you doing? Like, no, I can't do this. This week, I'm in a bubble. And because once you lose your concentration, once you lose your focus, it's hard to get back into
Momentum.
that. Yes.
You lose the
Yes.
momentum, and you're not on the same wavelength, thinking wise or writing wise. Sometimes people
Correct.
get writer's block as well. That's a common thing with writers.
Yes, absolutely.
So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Mine was kind of like the opposite too. I had so much information. I actually
Too much.
had, yeah, I actually had 100 more pages in the book.
How,
100.
how big is the book?
It's 188 pages, so it's not that thick. It's, an easy read, but I get to the point quickly. But there was an extra 100 pages in the book that I had to just go back and, I actually had to speak to my attorney as well before I published the book. And he's like, anything that's not factual, you kind of have to be careful when you're writing a memoir. Yeah, so I had to go back. Not that it wasn't factual. I had things in there that were more opinionated than I could prove.
It's not statistically or proven through some type of written form.
Correct.
Evidence.
Or like, like this
Concrete.
really happened. I have the court papers to show it, and things like that. So I went back and I took out the pages of being opinion. And actually it was a good thing because when you go back and you look at because opinions change. So an opinion I had about something I wrote in the book 5 years ago is different than my opinion today. Because people change, things change. There's a lot of forgiveness, a lot of regret, a lot of this and that.
Maturity.
So I was
growth.
glad that I had to do that. Yeah. So it's basically it's all facts, things that actually happened, and how I felt at the time.
You talk about how you try to keep it raw, right? You don't want no one editing it,
Yeah.
right?
It's raw.
You kept it close to you and kept it raw. Doesn't that resonate more with the audience?
In some ways, yes. In some ways, no, because some people might not like that there's curses in there. Some people might not like that.
Then was the book for them?
No, it's not for everybody. Yeah, it's not for everybody. But, when you are writing a memoir, you have to do what's right for you. And because while I was writing the book, it never crossed my mind to think about the other part, like what are the people going to say about no, it was more like, okay, this is what I'm writing. This is what I want to present myself like to the people. This is what really happened. And like, again, for me, it was like the rumors were out there. People had already made their mind about me. They had already made their mind up, So I was like, okay. And they can keep those thoughts. They can think that of me, which is fine, but at least tell them the truth.
You're going to give your light and your truth and what is the truth. So, all right, we touched on your life story a little bit. Now let's touch on the Philly food fanatic. You're everywhere. I get all these reels from all these people sending me new places to go, and it's from the Philly food fanatic. You. So tell us about how that started. How did that concept and how did that even begin? What was the conception?
They call me Philly famous. I've been hearing that, like you're Philly famous, and I'm like, oh my God.
That's a good way to put it.
And it's exciting because I'm from Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia. Look, people that are not from Philadelphia, I get a lot of like, oh, Philly's a shithole,
They
and
don't
this, that.
understand because they've
And
never
I'm like,
been here.
listen, every big city has bad parts to it, but there's something about Philadelphia. It's a Greek word, Philadelphia. It's philos, like that's why it's called the city of brotherly love. Delpho means brother. Yeah, exactly. So I have such a deep, connection and feel for Philadelphia. I was born, raised here, my whole life. So we love the fact that the restaurants are, like the whole restaurant scene is really becoming huge now in Philadelphia.
It's vibrant.
It's so different than what it was, like, let's say, when I was growing up.
Well, I just talked about this with Mike Pagliarella, from Richie's Hoagies, who's actually here.
I saw that, yeah.
Great guy, awesome family, great people. But we talked about how good the food is in Philadelphia, how underrated it is. It's some of the best in the country.
It's really fabulous. I mean, like I said, you would have to go all the way to New York to get like a really nice restaurant or a nice steak or a nice pizza. And now it's just, and that's what we do. We showcase it. So we started, my boyfriend and I, he would do like reviews. And I would always make fun of him. I'm like, listen, if you don't like it, don't go back. It's like that Skip Maniscalco had. I don't know if you know the comedian. Who has time for reviews? It's true, like, what are you doing? And he was like, but Ange, there's so many like nice restaurants. Like, I want people to start knowing about it, you know? I want people to start really,
Understanding.
like, how do we showcase these people? And then we would sit down and talk to a lot of these chefs, a lot of these restaurant owners, and they all had a story.
Everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story, and they had wonderful stories. And some of these chefs, and it was like, wow. And there's so much hard work that goes into a restaurant. There's so much hard work that goes into a pizzeria or a bar. People just don't understand. You know, you go in there, and it's so easy to critique a place. Oh, my food didn't come out right. That place sucked. You know, it's
There's a
like,
million moving parts.
you know, exactly. There's a lot. And, you know, what I have to say to that is, you got to give restaurants a couple, like, if you didn't have a great experience, okay, maybe let the manager know in a nice way, you know, listen, because they want to know. Believe it or not, managers want to know. I mean, they don't want you posting it all over the place, but they do want you to know so that they can fix it. You know, they put all that time and hard work into their restaurant, into their, you know, and all that money. They want to know if their staff is doing something wrong, or if the steak didn't come out good, or, you know. So we found a way to do that. We did. We found a way, and that's what it's all about. It's about showcasing the restaurants. You know, it's not about whether or not we liked the food, because at the end of the day, that's an opinion. Correct. Right?
Yeah, it's an opinion,
You know,
100%.
and I've listen, my father
Certain
always
places
said,
I can say that are really good.
right, and then the opinions are like assholes. Everybody has one. So at the end of the day, it's really
That's a good one. I've never heard that, but now I might save that one in the bank.
It's the truth. So it's really not about, you know, our opinion. It's about showcasing what they have. So when we do go to these restaurants and we showcase them, we always tell this, you know, the owner or the chef, bring out whatever you want to showcase. It's not about what I like to eat. It's about what you want to show on the Philly Food Fanatic.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, and the good thing is I eat everything. The bad thing is that my boyfriend is gluten-free.
Oh, that's tough.
Very tough. So he just recently found that out too. So when we first started doing the Philly Food Fanatic, he was just eating everything, but he had a big problem. Like, he couldn't sleep. He had a lot of, you know, issues. And then he finally found the great doctor, and the doctor was like, you're gluten-free. And he's like, I can't. I'm doing the Philly Food Fanatic. I can't be gluten-free. But a lot of these restaurants, mostly all of them now, have gluten-free menus. So that works out good. But I always end up eating the food. Like, it's always like, Ange, the chef brought that out. It's not gluten-free. You're going to have to eat it. And I'm like, you know, we take a lot of food home too. But it is a great side gig to have. I'm not going to complain, guys. It's really a great side gig to have. It's just a little tough on my diet these days.
So when you go to a place, right, how do you, like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for, is it the service? Is it the food, the product, the people, the customer service? Is it the ambiance, the aesthetic?
Absolutely. It's a little bit of everything.
Little bit
So
of
it all
everything.
depends on where you go. So there's some places that have been around for so long, generation, and they have no ambiance at all. Like, you know, there's nothing to look at. It's just all about the food. Like, we recently just did Cash's Bakery down in South Philadelphia. They've been there since 1953, over 70 years, you know, 3 generations, 4 generations, whatever it is, you know? And they had this oven there that was from 1944. It's like, of course you're going to showcase it. Nobody has that oven. It was 1944. So it's not about the ambience for that place, so to speak. But they had the best bread in, like, the whole town. Like, everybody knows
Everybody
Cash's
knows,
Bakery. Right. And then there's other places that are just coming out, you know? Like, we went to Roz's in New Jersey.
Roz's, never
Just, with beautiful ambience. You
Where?
walk in, it's like, and she's actually Greek.
Really?
The wife is Greek, yeah.
Where is this?
It's called Roz's, and it is in New Jersey.
New Jersey. Wow.
Yeah, we do so many places a week, so
Yeah,
I'm
it's
really
tough.
sorry if I can't remember the exact address, but, you know, that's just the name of a few, you know, but there's so many of them where you're like, okay, the ambience is there. And rarely do we get one that actually has them all, like the ambience, the food, the
hard.
customers. It's hard.
How are you going to be great at everything?
But you know what? They are.
Some are,
They
yeah.
are. They really are. They're stepping up. I mean, these restaurants are just, they're fabulous. And it's a great time. You know, you have a great experience. And I mean, I could tell you 10 places right off the bat where
Give me 10.
I can give you 10. Okay.
You said 10 off the
Okay,
bat, so
so
you said
I can
it,
do
not me.
I can do DePaul's.
Okay.
And that is in Ardmore. I can do Don Don Noodles. That's also in Ardmore. She also has one in Wayne.
Okay.
I talked about Cash's Bakery. We have Vito's Pizzeria.
4, right?
Right. Joey Marlino just
Oh,
opened up a new
Skinny?
cheesesteak
Yeah,
place,
I
Skinny
haven't been yet.
Joey's.
I haven't been yet.
That's right off the bat. And, that's not like a fancy, again, that's a cheesesteak place. Cheesesteaks are great. They're phenomenal.
Philly's famous for it.
It's like weird. I get a lot of DMs like, is it really as good as so-and-so? And I'm like,
Everyone makes
yeah,
it a competition, though.
it's
first of
really
all.
that good. His cheesesteaks rock.
Yeah.
No joke. They're
I
that
gotta
good.
go.
They're worth waiting in that line.
I gotta go.
Very good.
See if I go through the back, maybe.
So, yeah, let me see. Ginger.
Ginger.
Ginger. It's a restaurant in Northeast Philadelphia.
Really? What
Yeah.
is it? What kind of food?
Fabulous. So it's kind of like an Asian fusion / Russian. I'm telling you, got to check it.
Well, that makes sense. They're both in Asia.
I'm telling you,
So-
got to check it out.
Really?
Yeah, this guy is actually, he's very young, the chef, but he's going for like a James Beard Award and like a Michelin.
Wow.
I mean, it's that good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
top tier.
It's really that good. And it's more of a smaller restaurant, but it's really that good.
Is it super authentic?
Super authentic. It's great.
I
It's
love
great.
those
It's going to be an
places.
experience you've never had before.
Yeah.
And it's hidden away in like Northeast Philadelphia,
Northeast,
you
no
know?
one
It's
talks
like
about.
you wouldn't think to go there. You would think it belongs
Center
someplace in the city.
Yeah, of course.
So there's
Hidden
Ginger.
gems.
Yeah, yeah. There are like a lot of those hidden gems. A lot of Italian places. We're doing Tavolas tonight, actually.
Tonight?
Yeah,
Oh, snap.
doing Tavolas tonight. Then there was
You're gonna have
another
to
place.
let me know how that is first.
Yeah, yeah.
Real quick.
Absolutely. Tavolas is, and I think it's in Delaware County. Yeah, so we're doing that one. We went to another one. Like, I can't even remember them. I'm going to be
Yeah,
honest
so
with
many.
you. So many.
How many have
just
you
go-
done?
We did like 300.
300 so far in total.
Yeah, I think so. It's around that. We've done that many. Between bars, pizzerias, steak shops, and restaurants.
So you do bars too.
Yeah.
So you do more than just restaurants. You do strictly like bars and bar food, or is it?
Anything that has food in it.
Do you do cafes or no?
We do cafes.
You do.
Absolutely.
All right,
We
so-
can do like, I think we have the Reading Terminal Market coming up.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. So we have just about anything that has food in it, and now we're actually even branching out as far as sponsorships for my podcast. So we do like Golden Nugget Jewelers. They're like where Philly gets engaged. They're right on the corner of 8th and Chestnut. They're huge. Been there for a long time. So we're just connecting with the community, I think, at this point. We've branched out so much that it's like all about Philly.
Where are the Greek places? Real
There's
quick?
so many Greek places. There really is. A lot of the Greek places are, they have more of like the diners and pizza shops.
Always.
So, right?
Forever.
Forever. It's
Forever.
been that.
Or the food trucks too, back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, but we do, believe it or not, a lot of Greek people own restaurants that you don't know of. So like the Cage,
The Cage. I've
that's
never been.
owned. Okay, so the Cage is another great one. Yeah, the Cage. They have three of them now. They have the Huntington Valley location. They have one which is across from like St. Sophia's Church, which is in I forget that area too. It's not Audubon, but I know they have 3 locations, and that has great ambience in it. Yeah, and they have the best drinks ever.
The best drinks ever.
Yeah, they have
Ever.
great drinks. Yeah, they actually name them. They're
I'm
like
gonna hold you
Greek.
to it.
They have, yeah, you have to go check it out. They have a great menu, a great selection of drinks. They even name them after like the Greek.
Or goddesses or something?
Yeah,
That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
That's
It's pretty cool. So that place is great, owned by Greeks. And then there's Elmira, there's Estia. These are owned by Greeks. Yeah,
Same
Greek-
owners, yeah,
Same
yeah,
owner. And Pietros. Yes, that's one of them that we did as well. So yeah, the Greeks are branching out too. They're kind of like done
little
with the
bit.
diners. They're like we're
Going
over this whole
high-end now.
diner 24/7 thing, you know?
It's
Because
tough.
this generation doesn't want to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a
Everything's
week.
changed. Everything's changed. So we talked about restaurants. What are top 5 cafes for you? If you had to pick the top 5.
The cafes. So we haven't done too many cafes, believe it or not.
How
It's
about
on our
just in your
list.
opinion then?
Oh,
We're gonna go top 5 restaurants. How about this? In your opinion, in Philadelphia, in the city, then top 5 cafes as well,
that's going to be hard.
and top 5 bars. How about we do that? All
Oh,
15.
that's going to be so hard.
Yeah?
That's going to be really hard for me.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they're all just so good. They're just all
Can't
up
pick.
there. Yeah, so many people ask us that. They're like, what's the best steakhouse? I'm like, oh my God, we've been to so many really good
There's
ones.
so much good food here.
There's just so
I agree.
many good ones.
I agree.
I mean, you have to just go on the page.
What's your favorite cuisine then?
So my favorite cuisine is Greek.
Greek,
Yeah,
of course.
Greek cuisine.
Yeah.
I'm
A
sorry.
little biased too.
love
We're both
Italian.
biased.
We are, but I love Italian cuisine. I will say, like, I grew up eating macaroni. Like, I love pasta. That is one of my favorite foods. But I just think Greek cuisine has a little bit more to offer as far as health-wise.
Yeah.
Mediterranean food, which is Italian, is
Yeah, it
Mediterranean.
is. It all is. East,
Yeah.
west, boom.
Yeah, it's all the same.
I
We have a
say-
lot of similar foods.
I believe Greek food is in the middle, right, of the Mediterranean. It's perfectly placed where it gets a little bit of this and it gets a little bit of that, and just a perfect mix. That's what I say.
A lot of the dishes I've been making lately, like my boyfriend will say, this is like Middle Eastern? And I'm like, yeah. So we do. We have a little bit of, like you said, I think that's a great way of putting it. You really
think it's
nailed
the
it there.
truth.
We're
I
right in
think-
the center.
Like, I have a lot of Lebanese friends, right, for example, right? And it's amazing. And I'm like, oh, we have the same thing. I'm like, you just call it something different. Like,
It's true. It's very true.
same thing with Italy, like some stuff. I'm like, oh, that isn't that this? Like, you know what I mean? So I think it's perfectly placed on, like, geographically where it got just, and obviously the cultures, traditions, empires, everything has overlapped over the years.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that, when you talk about Greek cuisine, people, it's really because northern part of Greece, like where I'm from, that's a completely different cuisine than the southern part of Greece. Southern part of Greece are like the islands.
Totally
all
different.
they eat is fish.
Yeah.
They eat a lot of that, octopodi, a lot of seafood. Calamarakia, which is my favorite. And then you go northern part of Greece, where like I'm from, and then you're talking a whole different cuisine. We're talking pites, we're talking meat, lamb, so there is,
In the oven.
yeah,
the
oh my-
village,
glastra.
Samoria,
Have you
yeah.
ever eaten from like, that's like
It's
the
really-
best.
It's the best.
So yeah, I just love Greek cuisine. Like you said, I'm a little biased, and I am writing a Greek cookbook. That's my
You
next
are.
book.
So
Yeah.
that is what is next for you.
That's next.
Greek
It's
cookbook.
Greek cookbook,
Wow.
focusing on the northern part of Greece.
Then what's your favorite Greek dish?
My favorite Greek dish is definitely humista.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
love
yeah.
stuffed peppers and
Yeah.
stuffed tomatoes.
Can't beat it.
Absolutely the
Feels
best.
homey. Like,
Yeah,
it's perfect.
It's perfect, and then they're the best in the summertime when
Yeah.
the tomatoes and peppers are in season.
Juicy. Yeah, it's good.
So
How about dessert?
Dessert, I probably want to say it's between ekmek and a galactoborico.
It's always galactoporico.
It's always
It's-
let your booty grow, right?
Yeah, it's the best. I have to say, anytime like I can get some and it's freshly made, there's nothing like it. I love bugatsa too. Bugatsa.
Okay, Bugatti. Now you're talking northern part of Greece.
Yes.
That's
I know
my neck of the
Thessaloniki,
woods.
I know. But we're from Katerini, my family, so
Yeah,
it's kind of my
Bugatsas are
part
up
too.
there.
But
Yeah.
like those are probably my two favorite.
They're so good.
I don't think there's anything that comes close.
Yeah, and that's the best part about being in Greece too, because like they eat Bugatti in the morning.
That's what I do.
So good.
When my friend does espresso or frappe, whatever, in the morning.
Now we don't have a place like that around here.
Nah.
Somebody needs to open up a place like that.
You know
Like,
what though? My buddy. So I know a couple places that have bugatsa. I'm gonna give you a little. Like,
Yeah,
cheat
tell
code.
me.
So Greek from Greece and University City, next to Drexel University, has it. And then someone in Haddonfield has it. It's called the Bistro, and they make it really good.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's super, super good. They put the powdered sugar on top. Very, very good. And they also sell the Freddo espresso.
Oh my
Or
God.
cappuccino, whichever you want. And frappe, Greek, whatever you want.
You can't find a Freddo espresso here.
So, if you want like some good bugatsa, go to one of those places. And they both serve Freddo espresso, but those are the only places you ever find that serve any of
Wow.
those things.
I'll definitely have to hit that up.
Yeah, you got to go. Shout out to
Absolutely.
Greek from Greece and the Bistro as well in Haddonfield. And then every once in a while, I'll find my friend Nico from Zorba's.
Oh yeah, I've been to Zorba's
You've been
many
to
times.
Zorba's?
Philly Food Fanatic hasn't, but I personally have been
Okay.
too.
Yeah.
Zorba's many times, and they have very authentic.
Yeah, super authentic. But every once in a while, he'll have some bugatsa there. But you got to catch him on the right day, But yeah, super good. So you said what's next for you is the Greek cookbook.
Yes, so my Greek cookbook should be coming out within a few months. It's right now. It's about the pictures. Like I just recently went to Greece and took a lot of the pictures that I wanted to put in the book because I did want to make a little personal, not just recipes. So that should be coming out, and then I'm working on a romantic novel.
So you're working on a lot then.
I am. I'm working
While
on
still
a couple.
doing Philly Food Fanatic, all these different
Yes,
things, podcasts.
I'm very busy. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and these are like my side gigs because I full time, I take care of my mom.
Yeah.
My mom's 84 years old. My dad passed away last year, so we had to bring her over here from Greece.
My grandmother, yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
She's 84 too.
Exactly. And, she has some health issues, hip surgery, knee this, that, So that is my full-time job, taking care of my mom. Yeah, I was working at a bank, quit my job, and decided I'm going to take care of my mom full-time.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
God
Thank you.
bless.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, so that, and then, the Philly food thing is the side. And the podcast we do once a week. So that's basically gets taped every Monday. And then what else are we doing? At the book I work on, like, any time that I have free and available. I mean, it could be in the middle of the night. If I have, yeah, absolutely. If I'm like, oh my God, I forgot this recipe. I forgot to put this in. I'll run downstairs at like 2 o'clock in the morning on my desk and start writing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Greek cookbook. How often do you go to Greece? You said you were just there recently.
Yeah, so I go as often as I can.
Yeah. I wish.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. I know after I had my kids, I have 4 kids. And after they were born, it was kind of tough going over there. My husband at the time, we used to work a lot. You know how
Yeah,
they're all
stuff.
like Greek men are like workaholics, they work
Are you talking
so
about me?
yeah, they work so much. So I wasn't really able to go. It was like a lot for me to go on myself with 4 kids. So as they got older, though, I wanted them to,
Experience the culture.
absolutely. And so I go as often as I can. If I can get over there, I will. I would love to move there, to be honest with you. But, my kids,
It's tough.
it's tough.
I love to move there too. I love to live there, but
So tough.
well, I always say here we live to work, over there they work to live.
It's such a different
Totally
lifestyle.
different. And the economic situation there is different than it is here. But in terms of culture and life itself, nothing beats it.
No.
Nothing beats it. It's not even close. I wish I was able to go every summer like everyone I know, but I can't. Last time I went was 2 years ago, I want to say. I went with my brother, and it was the time of my life.
It's great. I grew up going to Greece every summer. My dad was very big on that. Plus, they owned dry cleaners, and then eventually we bought a pizza shop. But, my mom didn't have babysitters. They were both at the dry cleaners, and they were like, okay, well, can't leave the kids by themselves, ship them off to Greece. So I grew up with like my my aunts,
That's
my
awesome.
cousins,
Yeah.
And I think that was really, really good for us. It really taught us so much about, how spoiled we really are here in
true.
the States.
Everyone takes it for granted.
Yeah,
I always talk about this.
30 years ago, going to Greece in the village, it was nothing like this.
It was hard for me to relate to people growing up in school because I felt like a lot of people were spoiled here. And it's not like I went to Greece as a kid. I never did. But I guess I still had that culture from both my parents, whether it was the Spanish Puerto Rican culture or the Greek culture. And it kind of gave me an understanding behind what it's like in certain other areas compared to here, how lucky we are for the opportunity, So what else is next for Angeliki Nakos?
So I have a few things in the works. I do have a couple producers that I'm talking to about making my.
You're
book into
really
a
busy.
film.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually have an original screenplay. For my book was supposed to be a film before it was a book. Yeah, so I had a very famous writer, producer, director come fly out from LA. He's actually from Philadelphia.
You're from Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Wow.
His name is Lee Sternthal.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wrote and directed and produced a movie, The Words.
Yes.
Did you ever hear that
I
movie?
have.
With Bradley Cooper and Zoe Zendaya.
I
Dennis
believe-
Quaid is
yeah,
in it,
yeah,
Olivia
yeah,
Wilde.
yeah,
There's a lot of big stars in that movie. So he did that. He flew out for 8 months, and he wrote my original screenplay.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I still have it,
In the
It's
bank,
just-
we're just waiting,
It's just waiting.
ready.
Yeah, it has to be done right.
Yeah. of
That's my
course.
biggest concern.
Is that why you did the book first?
Well, no, the film was supposed to be done first,
But
and then
is
what
that why you
happened was
changed?
when they were ready to kind of like do the film and go forward, like we were in the middle of like casting and budgeting and things like that, and I was going through a really hard time with my divorce, and I couldn't do it. I
it's
couldn't
tough.
focus on anything at that time. And I do have that in my book. There's a chapter called Hollywood, and it talks all about that, on why the movie wasn't made.
I got to buy this book.
I actually have a copy for you.
You do?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure. So yeah, so it's in that chapter, Hollywood, of why I couldn't get that film done, and so then COVID hit. So that was like a
Yeah.
2 years of
Everything.
Hollywood was just like
It wasn't just, it was everything, but
It was
Hollywood
everything.
especially, yeah.
they were so affected by it. So now it's like, and then I decided, you know what? Let me do the book. Let me get the book out there. And so the book, like I said, just came out in July, almost not even a year ago. And now I'm ready. I think I'm getting ready for the film. I'm getting ready to do the film. Yeah, I think I'm there.
Coming next, coming very soon, the film about Angeliki Nakos. Go check out her book. Go check out her podcast. Go check out the Philly Food Fanatic. Go check out everything she's doing. She's doing a lot. If you want to give one last shout out for where they can reach you, that'd be great.
Okay. Thank you very much, first of all, for having me on your show.
Thank you for
It was
coming
an
on.
honor. Thank you very much.
The honor was all mine.
Thank you.
The honor was all mine.
So you can reach me at Angeliki Nakos. You can look me up at the Philly Food Fanatic, that's with an F, on Instagram. My book is called The Queen of Linens. And the podcast, it's called Film,
Don't
Food,
forget
and
now.
Fashion Are My Passion. Yeah, I have so many things going on. I'm forgetting everything. You can reach me on any of those.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and let us know if you'd like to see Angeliki Nakos back on the Maltepes show. Thank you guys very much. Thank you very much,
you.
Angeliki.
Thank you.